Hello everybody, welcome back once again to On the Couch with David and Travis.
This was episode number 6, Ray 2. What did you think?
I liked most of this episode. Mm-hmm. What I liked most about it was we finally got to see Misato in action. Mm-hmm. And because really up to this point, we've seen her be a leader in some aspects, but there's never really been a point where she's captain and she is in charge, she's making decisions, she is making critical talking with different people and making all the moving parts behind the scenes work. And I felt and I don't know, it's just because I'm maybe a nerd about this kind of stuff, but I liked seeing what behind the scenes looked like.
I agree with you. They told us that she was captain and now it's time to actually see that.
Yeah, so I like seeing she has to go talk to Gendo. Is that his name?
Gendo,
sorry. She has to go talk to Gendo. She has to go talk with this policeman. They have to jerry-rig all of this stuff. I mean, realistically, you couldn't fire all of Canada's energy through one beam. But
there's also robots.
Exactly. But we get to see how they make it work behind the scenes, which I actually liked more than the actual action itself.
Oh, I think it's an entertaining episode. It's all action oriented, obviously. Mm-hmm. There's some great visuals, I think. There's some interesting lighting, when they're first getting ready for the mission. Did you notice it was very harsh purple, harsh blue, kind of some black.
They're washed out.
Again, the design choice of having the angel just be this sort of shape.
Mm-hmm. With a drill coming out of it.
I think it's an inspired design. I don't really know what it means or why, but it's I've certainly never seen that before.
Yeah, I did not expect it, which was fun.
It was a very, I want to say basic, but it's an average setup. They have to defeat it. Okay, she's defending him, and then the whole parallel between Shinji opening the hatch, burning his hands was a little too obvious for it to be Gendo.
Yeah.
They didn't need to show us his face superimposed on it because we get the.
I think for some people they did need that, but for
this show I feel like it's unnecessary.
But I think some people would have I understood the parallel already.
Yeah, the second they have the tss, and he's doing it, you're okay.
Yeah.
I don't really like the ending to this episode.
I didn't really like it either.
I guess
where
it's
Ray,
hard.
You should just smile.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't really know what turns me off about it, but I don't like the smile thing. I don't think it offers an interesting commentary on the situation, and I don't think it fits the character. Because
I think I get what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to show her warming up to him a little bit, which I get, but at the same time, from what we've seen with the character so far, it doesn't seem realistic that within 20 minutes it would happen.
I think part of it is that she sees Gendo in him, but still, it's I don't buy that transformation just
and I don't buy the similarities between the two, between him and Gendo. There has not been enough in the series to have shown me that they're similar enough for her to see that likeness.
I think what they're trying to say here is that she feels an attachment to both Gendo and Shinji. Mm-hmm. And those are the only people that she feels this weird sense of attachment to. And I'm not saying it's not done wonderfully, but I understand that the point is there's something going on there. Yeah. We still don't know why she's feels attachment towards Gendo, or why she might feel it towards Shinji too. But I get that. I don't think that aspect is done poorly. I really don't like the smile thing. I don't like the way she looks with the smile. The design feels. What does that face mean?
That's her smiling.
Yeah, I don't think it works well with the design of the characters on a very basic level. But I'm thinking, with what we've seen, and I know what we're going to see, it just, for me, doesn't feel warranted. Mm-hmm. I did notice this, and this sort of confirms my theory, too. Okay, so the end theme is Fly Me to the Moon, obviously. Yeah. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, why is it Ray? Why Moon? And I really think they're really pushing this Ray Moon thing. I mean, we're looking at the credits now. It's the moon. In the opening credits, it's her with the moon. And then at the end of the episode, after she talked, the camera went to the moon. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a reason for that. I'm not entirely sure on it. But I do think it works, at least visually, thematically, because of her hair color. She has the paler skin. And I think it's a contrast to some other things, but it does sort of okay, they are intentional. It's not just a coincidence. They are trying to push this moon
I think
thing.
she's going to turn into the moon, at the end of Avatar Season 1.
Would that be the coincidence if we watched 2 shows where she turned into the moon twice? Again, this isn't an episode that's I didn't feel like it's asking me any questions. I didn't feel like it's trying to make any sort of deeper insights or observations, but it is entertaining. The animation is wonderful. The music is great. The visuals, the action. It's all done very well. It's just not, special.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not special.
I think, for me, I just enjoy the character of Misato.
She's a wonderful character.
I enjoy her, and I enjoyed getting to see her really show how professional and, how much of a go-getter that she is. That just felt like, to me, this makes more sense with her character. Because you have the captain aspect of her, and then you see her being all funny at home.
Well, she gets drunk and stuff, but
yeah, which is fun. But it's also refreshing to see it's refreshing to see that the woman is treated with respect, and she has the authority to do that.
This is early '90s Japanese anime, so it's anything you see that's pushing a little bit of let's respect the woman, let's respect that. That's something.
And it's not just because she's has the title, but because you see she has those leadership qualities, which I really admired about her character. I feel like her character is the one that I've know the most about at this point.
They focus a lot on it. I think that's another really important thing again with this. I'm going to call it the first act until we get to, and you'll know when we're out of it. But the important thing with this is we're starting to get sort of an attachment to these characters. Mm-hmm. We're starting to feel Misato. I mean, I'm not quite there with Shinji. I'm not quite there with Rei, but it's I want to see what happens to her. I want to see what's going on. I want to learn more about her. I like her. And that's an important aspect of this too, I think.
It's funny because we usually think of the main character kind of as the person who the audience put themselves in, puts themselves in their position. But I just felt like I've not that I personally relate to Misato and this is how I would act in this situation, but I just feel like she is, at least in this episode, she's the more level-headed one and is the more objective one that we kind of go into the world and we see the world kind of through her eyes a little bit in this episode, which I really liked.
No, I agree. This show excels on the characters of Misato, Asuka, and Rei. I think everybody watches the show, they're going to say one of those three are their favorite character. One of those three is the one they relate to. It's not going to be Shinji. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think maybe we're okay. So we're not. It's complicated. I'm not quite sure how to word this, but I just see it as they can use these other characters to go a lot in these different directions. And I almost wonder if Shinji is sort of the author's voice in a way, sort of what he's saying, how he's feeling, and then we don't like him, and that's sort of how he feels. I don't know.
And that was just comparing it to Harry Potter because it is a male character with sidekicks. I kind of don't like Harry at points too, even though he's supposed to be the audience's kind of
people
avatar.
Love Ron, people love Hermione, people love Hagrid.
Yeah, they love the bit players a little more, but I feel in this series, Misato is a more well fleshed out character at this point than Shinji is.
I don't know if that'll ever change either. Shinji's weird to talk about. We'll get to some stuff. I think a lot of the times we're supposed to be sort of turned off by Shinji. I think we're supposed to be oh, why do you do that? Or because obviously it's okay, people do this. This is real. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we're supposed to like him. We're not supposed to want to be friends with him. I don't hate him at all. I just don't. No,
he's just not the most.
There's a big gap between hate and I don't think dislike. It's just you see him and you're oh, this is the kind of guy I don't know if I'd want to be around. And I think that's intentional.
Well, it's kind of the same with Rei too. I wouldn't want to be around her.
Well, we're only scratching the surface on that one. That's a whole different can of worms.
Okay. We'll get there. I think overall it was a serviceable episode. It was fun.
It's entertaining, but you change the design of the angel and a few other small tweaks, and it's an episode of Gundam. It's a mech anime episode, and that's what are we at 6? We're not even 20% through this show, so it's I'm willing to let it slide.
Yeah. All right, we will see you for episode 7.